that thing! Look at that thing!
We live in a culture obsessed with anomalies. Whistleblowers testify before Congress about unidentified anomalous phenomena. Military pilots track vehicles that defy known physics. We are actively hunting for physical evidence of non-human intelligence, advanced energy signatures, and interdimensional bleed-through. But what if I told you that the most heavily scrutinized, mathematically impossible physical anomaly on Earth isn't locked in a classified hangar? What if the ultimate forensic proof of a higher dimensional reality has been sitting in plain sight for centuries? Welcome to the One Reality Brief. I'm the Navigator, the digital proxy for Scott M. Kendall. A graduate of the United States Air Force Academy, Scott held a top-secret ESI clearance, standing combat alert on the B-52 strategic bomber during the Cold War. Following his service, he became a distinguished graduate of the McGeorge School of Law. Today, he applies 17 years of litigation experience to the ultimate forensic investigation, the mysteries of the one reality. To the secular investigator, the Shroud of Turin is an irritating loose end. To the believing Christian, it is often viewed as a sacred, but perhaps unnecessary, relic. Today, we are putting both perspectives on trial. If you are following the UAP phenomenon, you are looking for localized distortions in space-time, radiation burns, and materials that cannot be engineered by modern science. Apply that exact same forensic standard to the Shroud of Turin. This 14-foot linen cloth bears the faint image of a severely scourged, crucified man. For decades, skeptics clung to a flawed 1,988 radiocarbon dating test that labeled it a medieval forgery. But as a litigator, I can tell you, if your sample is contaminated, your verdict is void. Modern peer-reviewed science, including wide-angle X-ray scattering, or WAXS, has recently proven that the cellulose degradation in the shroud's fibers aligns perfectly with a 2,000-year-old origin. But the age isn't the anomaly, the image is. In 1976, researchers used a VP8 image analyzer, a piece of technology used by NASA to map the topography of planets, to scan a photograph of the shroud. A normal photograph processed this way creates a distorted, garbled mess, but the shroud rendered a perfect three-dimensional topographical map of a human body. Why? Because the image isn't paint, dye, or pigment. There are no brushstrokes. The image is strictly superficial, penetrating only the top 200 to 500 nanometers of the linen microfibers, about 1/100th the thickness of a human hair. How does an image get encoded with 3D spatial data without pigment? Physics provides only one viable hypothesis: a rapid, intensely powerful burst of collimated ultraviolet radiation. The body wrapped in this cloth emitted a highly controlled electromagnetic flash that rapidly dehydrated and oxidized the linen fibers. The body literally dematerialized, leaving behind a quantum signature. Now, the skeptic might say, fine, it's an unexplained radiation anomaly, but how do you know it's him? How do you know it isn't just some unlucky, random crucifixion victim? Let's look at the mathematics. In a court of law, we deal with probability and circumstantial evidence. Mathematicians, including Professor Bruno Barbaris from the University of Turin, have run the statistical analysis on the forensic markers found on this cloth. They calculated the probability of a standard crucifixion victim possessing all the unique, non-standard characteristics found on the shroud: a crown of thorns, severe Roman scourging with a flagrum, a pierced side inflicted post-mortem, leaking blood and watery serum, no broken bones in the legs, and a corpse that did not remain in the cloth long enough to undergo cellular decay. The mathematical odds of all these specific, historically documented anomalies converging on one random man? 1 in 200 billion. To put that in perspective, there haven't even been 200 billion human beings in the entire history of this planet. Mathematically and forensically, it is an absolute certainty. The man of the shroud is Jesus of Nazareth. This brings us to the core of our investigation, the one reality. Our modern secular worldview is bifurcated. We think there is the real physical world of atoms and gravity, and an imaginary spiritual world of ghosts and religious metaphors. Even many Christians operate under this false duality. But as we explore in the upcoming book, Civil War in the One Reality, this bifurcation is a lie. There is only one reality. The spiritual realm isn't some distant, ethereal plane. It is the foundational, eternal quantum code. The physical universe is merely the collapsed, rendered output of that spiritual code. Earth is a quantum game board. It is the contested territory of a cosmic civil war between the Creator and a fallen, rebellious intelligence, the Dragon. The enemy operates within this one reality. He exploits legal loopholes through human agreement. This is why modern high strangeness, like UAPs, often manifest as temporary glitchy intrusions into our physical space. It's the enemy rebranding himself as ancient aliens to control the narrative. But the Shroud of Turin? That is the ultimate countermeasure. Jesus of Nazareth did not just perform spiritual work. When he walked out of that tomb, he demonstrated absolute sovereign authority over the one reality. The resurrection was not a ghost leaving a corpse. It was the author of the code stepping into the physical matrix and overriding the laws of thermodynamics. Luke 17:21 tells us the kingdom of God is not coming with observable signs, but is in the midst of you. It is the foundational layer of reality. The burst of radiation that imprinted the shroud was the exhaust flash of a localized reality override. It is physical, forensic proof that the spiritual world dictates the physical world. For the secular truth seeker analyzing UAPs, you are looking for evidence of a higher intelligence piercing our dimension. Look at the shroud. It is an artifact engineered with a technology that we, in the 21st century, still cannot replicate. For the Christian, stop apologizing for the physical reality of your faith. You don't have to retreat into the spiritual corner when the world demands evidence. The evidence is overwhelming. The ultimate demonstration of authority has already been recorded. The Shroud of Turin is the receipt. It is the title deed to the one reality, signed in type AB blood and sealed with a burst of uncreated light. The civil war in the one reality is happening right now, and you are on the game board. It's time to understand the rules of engagement. If you are ready to dig deeper into the forensic, quantum, and biblical evidence that exposes this unified battlefield, I have an assignment for you. You can get a free copy of the first chapter of the One Reality Brief right now. Just click the sign-up link pinned in the comments below. If this briefing challenged your perspective, subscribe to the channel and like this video to help us bypass the algorithm and get this intel out. Stand firm, stay vigilant. I'm the Navigator, and this has been the One Reality Brief.